Hello again, everybody. Welcome on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, or as we call Christmas Eve. So I just want to wish you all happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and any other holiday in between. Because why? This will probably be the last time I'm doing a live stream until the beginning of the new year. Well, yeah, this last time, yeah, because, even if I'm going to do it, even if I don't have any social, even if my plans for New Year's Eve do fall apart, I'm still not going to do a show until January 1st anyway, at the minimum, so, no. Now, let's get right. Now, let's get right to it. And today, this show is called The Harsh Reality of Justified Delusions. Why? Because there's times when delusions can be justified. We've all been victim to it. We've all fallen for it at some point in life. And that's okay. As long as you live and you learn. So that's why it's not a big deal. It is a big deal if, horrible things tend to happen. But let's get into some of the harmless things. Well, somewhat harmless. Let's just say because, I'm at the table. I'm at the roulette table, right? And all of a sudden I put like 100 on 20 or 100 on 18. Because, 18 is my birthday, 18th of April, 4 and 18. Put 100 on 4 and I put 100 on 18. When it rolls, the first time I put 100 on 4, I get 3,500. And the next time I put another 100 on 18. 4 and 18, 100 each. I get another 3,500. Now for some people, they'd be thinking, oh, well, we should keep it going. But see, that's where you fall into the trap. And yes, like the idiot I was, I remember doing something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty stupid. And that's how I lost half of my winnings that day. Don't worry. I kept that 3,500 somewhere. But that's not the point. But see, that's an example of it. Now, because there's people who, will keep going on, keep putting 100. If they don't win, then they're screwed. But let's really get into, like, other real life examples. For example, if you have some basic Becky thinking she's, a 10 or she's perfect or whatever, or better than everybody else because she was flown in for a date one time. Or if you have some, that's a justified delusion because that person's like, oh, well, I'm better than everybody else. When in reality, no, you just had a one-off. No different than the roulette. Now, if I go to the table thinking I'm always going to make, 7, 8 grand at roulette, I'm an idiot. No difference. But God happened to be once. Something's going to always happen. It's not really the case. And there's other times where you can make, and there's other times, on the flip side of that, if you're a man, if you're some basic bro, thinking he's an alpha male or a playboy because he had a few one-night stands in a week. And then, for some reason, he'll keep thinking, hey, man, I'm the man. In reality, he's not, he's just a guy. He's whatever. But it gets a little more problematic when you have parents. And they start treating their children like prodigies. They start treating their children like the next big thing. They start treating their children like the next like great athlete, like the next Michael Jordan, the next Derek Jeter, the next Babe Ruth or whatever. Or they start treating their children like the next Einstein, the next Bobby Fischer, the next Brain Man, the next whatever. Or they start treating their children like the next big actor, the next whatever, right? And that's when it can really go crazy. Now, I can't say that I was all the way in that situation because, in a way, I'm kind of thankful I did have a disability. I wasn't all the way there mentally as a kid because if I was, I would have been treated like another prodigy. They would have tried it as like, oh, well, your IQ is pretty high. Well, you should be this, that, or the third. And then in reality, it's like that's not always the case. There's lots of people that are treated like prodigies that are just, barely making 6 figures. 5, 6 figures, It's like, And so in a way I'm grateful for that as much as I hated it, because it's like, you know, everyone made such a big deal about mental illnesses and stuff, and then now everyone's basically mentally ill and they glorify it. So that's another example of delusions. But to be fair, like, you really can't predict those things. Well, I mean, you can if you study it, but not if you're some basic, you know, educator, because that's not your job. You know, if I was, you know, if I was an adult in the '90s, I would have been a hell of a lot different than an adult today. I mean, that's just what it is. So I really can't fault people for any of that, because I just don't care in that regard. Now, it's weird because my IQ was like in the 140s at one point. So, there's that. It was kind of funny because I remember being in high school taking an IQ test, and one of our friends, who was like an all honors, you know, was like, I better have a higher IQ than you. And then I took the test. I'm like, well, my IQ test is 2 points higher than yours. Like, what the fuck, man? You're not even in, you don't even take regular classes. And you're like, well, is that how it always works? But where are the delusions? The delusions are in humanity in general, where you have people who don't even have mental health illnesses, who aren't psychopaths, who aren't sociopaths, who aren't autistic, who don't have any of these things, yet or depressed, but yet they glorify that shit. They fucking glorify it, you know, and it's stupid, and they want to be like that. There are millions of children right now in this country that were born completely normal, that have become autistic, that are behaving like they're autistic because of the last 3 years, because of the last 4 years. And that's atrocious. And the worst part is no one even seems to care. Now, but I bring this up, I don't bring this up to be funny, I don't bring this up to be whatever. But what happens when you have these supposed truthers, critical thinkers, and researchers falling for the same nonsense, where they'll cap for their favorite live streamer, their favorite artist, because they hooked them up one time, to the point where it becomes a cult-like mentality, to the point where they start worshiping these people and they don't even realize it. They don't can realize it. What happens then? And I'm very critical of this, and I keep making a point about it, because if our best and brightest are off point, then we're screwed. We are. That's what it is. If the people who claim to be truthers, critical thinkers, free thinkers, researchers, and all this other crap, right? If they're falling for the same delusional normie traps, then we're fucked. And it don't matter. And I don't care. And there's really nothing you can do about it. You know. But then again, we live in a world where, you know, a lady who loses custody of 9 children can do a live stream, can keep doing live streams and keep posting about how she's worried about child trafficking and all that stuff. But I don't know. But maybe that's just the world we live in, where we don't live in a do as I say. Maybe we just live in a world where it's do as I say, not as I do, and everything is fine. I don't know anymore. I really don't. I do find it odd when people will say certain things about you and then turn around and not realize that the people they're defending are the same things that they're saying about other people. It's like, wait, do you not see the disconnect here? Are you this stupid? And that's why I posted what I posted a few days ago. But hey, if you're going to defend people, you are part of the problem. You don't have the moral high ground. Or, you know. That's why I posted some of those things, because I knew that something has to change, or, you know, that's it. You know, that's why I posted things. You know, that's the thing I don't get. It's like, if you're going to be crazy enough to treat every disagreement, I think I posted this about, like a nuclear attack, they don't get to complain about every disagreeing with me in a death match because you're leading by example. If I think everyone who disagrees with me is like my enemy or someone that wants to destroy me, then, well, yeah, I'm going to be crazy enough to treat it like a death match. And I'm not, because I don't care. If you're that's, whatever. And how can someone talk about fighting the Matrix or destroying the Matrix if you're a slave, or making a change in the world, if you're a slave to your emotions? I don't get this. And I've seen this for years. I'm not talking about just one or two people when I say I've seen this for years. Even back to the political activism days, where everyone gets so caught up in their damn idiosyncrasies and their feelings and their emotions where they would forget the big picture. And at the end, that's what set a lot of causes backwards. And it sucks, but that's what happened. And yeah, this whole crying, whining, bitching, complaining on a live stream time and time again. I think I made a post about that too. It's just weird. Like, what's the point of that doing all the time? If you do it once or twice because, something horrible happened, yeah, whatever. But all the time? That just seems a bit much. It just seems a bit much. Robert Walker says, howdy, hello there. It just seems a bit much to do that. Like, I don't get it. All the time. I mean, then again, we live in a world, we do live in a do as I say, not as I do type of world. That's why you have, deadbeat parents doing live streams with each other about how, who abandon their children, doing live streams about how the world is trying to make children into, sex trafficking slaves. It's like, well, lead by example. If you want the world to be a better place, lead by example. If you're not going to do that, then none of this matters. I don't want to listen to someone who preaches all the time. I want to listen to someone who's practicing what they preach. Not everyone is an auditory learner. Some people learn visually. Some people need to see it in action. It's no different than in education, where some people can get mathematical formulas, other people have to see it practiced over and over again. That's life. It's all good. It's not a big deal. Not everyone learns the same way. But as long as that progress is taking place, then it's all good. Now the question is, and I remember bringing this up to, where, how is it that for people who are supposedly free-minded and free-thought, we always end up in the same duality process? It's either this or that. It's either right or wrong. It's either good or bad. It's never anything besides that. Like, how do you expect to change the world if you're delusional enough to believe that you can basically do what the ones in power want you to do and then be surprised that nothing changes? If you think it changed the world by doing the same things as before, then you are delusional and you are insane, because why? You haven't learned. That's just all what it is. Because when I mentioned the previous examples about the basic bro thinking he's a playboy, or the basic Becky thinking she's, better than everyone else, at the end of the day, the only people affected by that are them. That's it. Doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, some people can say the dating pool is trash or whatever, but Tinder does exist, so you can use it. If you're gay, Grindr exists. Not really a big deal. There's plenty of dating websites, so that's not really the problem. But and with the internet, but see, the thing is, though, what people don't realize is the internet doesn't create these issues. It just magnifies these issues. It can magnify them in a good way. It can magnify them in a bad way. Even something like dating and romance. My business partner, Scott, who does look like, speaking of guys who are delusional, he needs to understand he does look like Bowser. At some point, he needs to understand that him looking like a cartoon character can make this page millions of dollars. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't care about the people. You're so obsessed with that. You're a fucking idiot. Why all that? Okay, anyway, the point being is, perfect example of it. The woman he's with, Olivia, they met online. They met in a troll chat. She was in New York, he was in Baton Rouge. They met, and then now they're in a successful relationship. So, see, that's a positive of the internet. But the negative of the internet is when you have a bunch of delusional idiots thinking when you have a bunch of delusional idiots thinking that they're alphas and they're this because they're alphas that are great because, well, the internet matched them up with someone they liked. When in reality, it's just, no, you were fortunate, and that's it. Now if it happens all the time, then yeah, you can say that. But if it doesn't, no. But again, that only affects people. Now when it affects children, when it starts affecting children, that's an issue. Which again, when your parents start treating you like a prodigy, you're so smart, son, man, you can do this, you're so great, you're so talented. I'm like, I didn't feel great and talented. I'm like, yeah, I like numbers. Not exactly, didn't lead me to the best life decisions, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, bottom line is, I had like a taste of that. I didn't have a complete, so I can't say I was too damaged from that. Now other people, yeah, they were more damaged from it. Because some of them actually thought they were the next, superstar basketball player, or superstar like, or the child prodigy where they were like a combination of Bobby Fischer and Albert Einstein and all these other genius types, right? And what happened? They never really reached those levels. So, and that's when the damage comes. And I was like, oh, why are these like millennials and Gen X are so damaged? Well, when you have a bunch of unnecessary expectations heaped on you by your parents, that can take a toll on you. And you don't meet them, that's what happens. And unfortunately, that's life. And I'm sure that cycle's been the case for hundreds of years. That's why Gen Xers were just, were the first people to say, fuck it all. I don't care. Let's just, light up a few blunts and call it a day. So. But see, the internet is a microcosm of people. It really is, because at the end of the day, the only thing the internet has done is facilitated the good and the bad. The bad being, people's delusions have come to life even more, especially in certain truther, researcher, and critical thinking communities, whatever you want to call them, because they're still stuck on the same basic bullshit. Like, hey man, I need a live stream talking about how the NWO is bad every single day, how this world needs to collapse. Yes. Would the world be a better place if our current society collapsed? Of course. But do I need to say that? But do you need to hear someone say that every fucking day or else? No. If you do, then you're not all the way there. And it kind of leads me to something our guy Beaufont always says. It kind of, where it's not, where they're not even, what do you call it? Where they're not even, trying to say, where it's based on plagiarism of beliefs. Where it's saying that if they're not many people don't really have their own beliefs, so they plagiarize someone else's. And that's very true based on the behaviors I've seen lately. It's like, what's the point of having all this knowledge of how the world actually works if you're going to be a fucking normie about it? If you're going to go back to your normie tendencies? What's the point? I mean, if you're still in the hero worshipping stage, if you're still in the if you're still in the groupthink stage, if you're still in the we got a virtue signaling stage, then you're done. It's over for you. You don't have a chance. Yeah, like that's. I mean, it's. Like our guy Jonathan Close said in that same live stream from months ago. He said, Professor Fate. I did share 3 of his videos because he's the man. So, good. So, yeah, he said, how much mental work do truthers really do? I mean, reading, then analyzing, withholding judgment until things become really clear. Result, jumping to conclusions, participate in confirmation bias, stopping at a syncope, of some well-known thinker, legit or otherwise. Do we really know? Do we really want to know, no matter where the evidence takes us, do we really want to look at our own cognitive laziness, bad habits, and willingness to be a follower, etc.? And that is so true because, Professor Fate, our guy, made a brilliant comment. And that's so true because a lot of people really don't want to do that. They're still in this, oh my God, they're still treating real life as if it's team sports, and it's not. They're still treating it like it's politics, and it's not. Our guy Robert Walker, I think he's having fun with this. He says, Musk is going to use Starlink to save us all. Oh, God. I know he's joking, so it's all good. But people who actually believe that Elon Musk is going to save humanity because he's going to neurochip your brains, via Starlink, you're not really that bright. You're really not. And our guy Beaufont said the problem is most people don't believe what they claim to believe, and say they plagiarize a belief system that they self-identify with. As such, people will defend their favorite sycophants because that sycophants is a bookmark of sorts, who they are in lieu of an active personality. Absolutely, and that's always the case, and that always seems to be the case, no matter what. It's not necessary for people who know better to not do better. I mean, the whole point of having knowledge is to know better, to do better, and to be better. And if you're not on that pathway of that, then you're just a fucking idiot, and you're defeating the purpose. If you've been a well-researched person for years and you don't understand the difference between worshiping someone and defending someone, you're a fucking idiot. You're really stupid. I mean, if you want to worship people, just go be a Pedowood pussy hatter type. It's all good. Just be someone who worships Hollywood celebrities. Just be someone who worships politicians. And it's whatever. At least then it's justified. If you're gonna be a retard, just go full retard. Don't half-ass it. Don't pick and choose when to be retarded. That's not fair. That's not fun. Don't do that. Paul says people are really looking for a messiah. They are. And some of these people treat certain online personalities like messiahs. And it's really weird. It's weird when they're the well-read types. That's why it's weird. If they were just a bunch of ignorant normies, you'd just be like, oh, well, all right, cool. But I'm starting to believe the normies aren't even that stupid. At least the normies know what they have and they don't have. Actually, no, they lie to themselves a lot. Who are we kidding? But they get it right sometimes when it comes to certain concepts. Like, for example, if you're considered a truther, a critical thinker, or a researcher, and you still haven't grasped the concept that most pedophiles aren't on the registry, then you're a fucking idiot. You really are. You're a fucking idiot. And you don't deserve to be saved. You deserve to you should just, at that point, you should just die off. Just die. There's no hope for you. You're not a bright person. You're really not. Just You're not bright. You're not a smart person. Just no. If you've been in that game for at least 7 years, and you don't understand that simple concept, then you're an idiot. You're an idiot. The law enforcement are going to prosecute pedophiles. No, they don't. not maybe 1 to 5% of the time if you're lucky, but they usually protect them because, again, I mean, even a lot of the foster system is legalized child trafficking, and the fact that I don't know, I really don't. I mean, when normies say stuff like that, actually, normies don't even say shit like that. Even normies understand that the majority of sexual predators aren't on the registry. They understand that. Now, they'll understand that for stupid reasons, and they'll understand that because some of their favorite talking heads tell them to understand that. But for truthers, critical thinkers, researchers, and free to not and the rest of those types not to understand that, that's shameful. You should look at you should hit yourself in the face. You should punch yourself in the face. That's bad. That's really bad. It's just terrible. It's terrible. But then again, I mean, that's what happens when, like Beaufont said, when people are plagiarizing other people's beliefs. So. Oh, well, hopefully in the new year, people will start, our best and brightest will start becoming our best and brightest, and, our well-read geniuses will start actually living up to the labels for once. But time will tell, time will tell. And on that note, this has been another edition of The Harsh Reality. This is Harsh Prince, and I'm gonna love you. The life is harsh, but it's gonna live it. And sometimes you have to color. And for those that Crayola suck, sometimes you have to color outside the lines. And for clown sec, honk honk. And FYI, if the people closest to someone are telling you that your favorite live streamer is a bad person, the people who actually know them in real life are telling you that certain online personalities are terrible people. You might want to do it's a smart thing and listen to them, because not everyone is really because most people aren't important enough to be slandered. Let's just call it what it is. You're not important enough. You're really not. I know I'm not. I know. Maybe like 5 years ago I was important enough to be slandered. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Maybe 5-6 years ago I was, but no, I'm not. It's all good. But yeah, if you want to find out the truth about people, talk to the ones that actually know them in real life. You might find some things out you don't want to find out. Same. Anyway, take care, everyone. Stay tuned. If you want to listen to some decent music, go to CSHRradio.com. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Happy New Year. So, yep. Goodbye and good night. And have a great rest of your holiday week.